Now that we know how to write an equation given a center and a point, we're now going to extend the idea to a problem that looks like this. And I'm actually going to scroll down and I'm going to pick 3B to do with you guys. So for each circle with the given equation, state the coordinates of the center and the measure of the radius. And I'm actually going to ask you to do the diameter as well, since the diameter comes from the radius. I'm not going to make you graph the circle. I will not make us do that. But I do want us to come up with what is the center and what is the radius and diameter. So if I look at 3B, at initial glance, this does not look like a form that we have used already. Remember, our equation of a circle has really looked like this, where H and K were our center, R is the radius. We are in fact going to take this problem and we're going to convert it to standard form, which is what we have been using. Okay? Standard form is this x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So to do this, we're going to use a procedure called completing the square. This may look very foreign. I'm hoping that you guys did this in Algebra 1. You should have. But if not, I'm going to show you exactly what that looks like. I'll skip a couple steps, but I'll go back and I'll explain how does it all work once we get to the end. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite my terms a little bit. I'm going to get my x's together and I'm going to get my y's together. So I'm going to say I have x squared plus 8x, and then I'm going to leave a space in here, knowing that I need to fill that space later. Plus, you can do the same thing with the y's, y squared minus 14y, and I'm going to leave another space, and then I'm going to say equals. Notice I didn't put the 40 on the left side. I actually want to get it to the right side. So I'm going to subtract 40 over. And notice how I put these spaces on the left. Whatever I add to this space and this space over here, I also need to put it on the right side. Since it's equal, since it's an equation, I got to keep both sides equal. Okay, so here's how this completing the square is going to look like. I'm going to write down my parentheses. These first three spots are all going to take up this first parenthesis. So x is going to go in the first spot, plus I'm going to take 8, divide it by 2, and that gets me 4. And then to fill in my space, I'm going to take 4, square it, that's going to get me 16. This might be the interesting part. How did this part, this x squared plus 8x plus 16, become this x plus 4? I'll show you that in just a sec. Plus, now we're going to do the same thing with these three blanks, or these three spaces. They're going to take up this section. So now I'm going to have y minus, following whatever sign this is, I'm going to take 14, cut it in half, that gets me 7. Square it, that's going to get me 49. Since I wrote 16 and 49 on the left side, I need to rewrite them on the right side as well to keep everything the same. Added 16 and 49. You may add those. So if I take negative 40 plus 16 plus 49, that's going to give me a value of 25. And there's your standard form of your equation of a circle. Okay, so we can also state what the center is and what the radius is. So I'm going to do that quick, and then I'll go back to how did this all work. So the center is going to be at negative 4, 7. It's opposite of whatever it is. Your radius, well, this 25 is radius squared. So the square root of 25 is 5. And then your diameter is just double your radius. So it should be 10. This is what I'm all looking for. Part of your answer. I don't need you to graph it, but that would be your answer that I'm looking for. All right, so now I'm just going to take a few pieces out of this. How did this, I'm going to box it in a different color. How did all of this become this x plus 4 squared? And then the same idea would occur for these right here. Okay, so I'm only going to focus on one of them. I'm going to take x squared plus 8x plus 16. You don't necessarily need to do this. This is just me showing you where does it come from. I'm trying to show you how do I get this to x plus 4 squared. Essentially what you're doing is you are factoring. You're finding the factors of 16 that multiply to 16 but add to 8. So I'm going to write down all the factors of 16. 1 and 16, 2 and 8, 4 and 4. I think those are all of them. Okay, so now I'm looking for which one of these factors, sets of factors, are going to add to a positive 8. And the ones that work, 4 and 4. They both have to be positive. If I take 4 plus 4, that gets me 8x. And if I take 4 times 4, that gets me 16. So now I can rewrite this, x squared plus 8x plus 16, in terms of x plus 4 and x plus 4. And how many groupings of x plus 4 do I have? Well, I have 2 of them. So I can rewrite it again as x plus 4 quantity squared. So when you're doing all of this up here at the top and completing the square, you are really just skipping this middle step down here at the bottom. We're just going straight to that step, skipping over the middle one. But that's the idea. That's how we're going to come up with writing the equation of our circle in standard form.